praises, turning them corners, no spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, so divine. Flip them scripts, endless grace you'll find. Psalms singing sweet, unbroken lines, hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound, plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the Navic blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered, spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ, flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message, flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick, raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions, streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered, spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ, flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message, flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick, raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions, streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. 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 Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick, raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick.
that. Let's try. There we go. Welcome in, everybody. Wow, that camera here is super zoomed in for some reason. Let me see. Is there something I can change on that? Nope, that's not it. There we go. Oh, that'll do it. There we go. Wow, that was super zoomed in. That'll be better for tomorrow. Oh, I'm blocking the hats. I put them on that side. Can we? No, that'll. It's what it is. That's where we are today. All right, Zach attack. Yeah, mute. Yep. You know what? I need to chat up so I can read that on screen. There we go. Yeah. Okay. I can quit that, and I don't have to keep the earbud in my ear and listen to myself the whole time. So we're remote location, and we're super late, except this would be my normal time. I'm just in a different time zone. So in that case, we're about 5-10 minutes early. But we'll just be a short one today, but I figured I just wanted to go try to get it rolling. I was planning on rolling about half hour ago and just did not get everything set up yet. So we're here now. We are here now. So let's get over to this scene and see. There we go. All right. It's going to be weird on some level because I don't have enough space to see everything that's going on the way that I have things on the screen right now. This is the problem when you go back to just a laptop and all you have is one screen and you're trying to fit all of this information of stuff on the same screen. You put stuff on top of other stuff. That's the way it goes. It's the way it goes. So, all right, well, we were in the book of Exodus is where we left off. So we have the plagues that are going on. And the interesting thing is people have tried to spend time figuring out if there are a natural occurrence for these. Like, oh, well, the Nile or an algae bloom could have been the river turning red. Sure, it could. But you still would have to have the ability to predict it, to know when it was going to happen, and to have the consequences of what did happen. And then the frogs had been a natural overflowing of the excess of it. But again, we don't know the timing of all of these things. Sometimes it gives us a little bit of a date of when things are happening, but we don't know how long it actually is between one plague and the next plague. These could be months apart in some cases. Now, we like to portray it as, oh, no, it's immediately. As soon as one plague is over and Pharaoh says, no, 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 then Moses and Aaron are right back in there saying, no, we're on to the next plague. So we need to pay attention to what those are or not. And don't just think, oh, well, there's a natural explanation for these, because part of the other thing is each one of these is an attack on a god of the Egyptians, starting with the river Nile, which is one of the gods, and the river turning to blood is a wounding of the god of Egypt. That is the one that, I can't remember which one's the Nile one, controls the Nile. I don't remember what the gnats are, but there are Egyptian gods of frogs. They have a frog head, so that's one. So we're going right after all of the Egyptian gods with these plagues. Okay. So let's pick it up in the plague of the gnats. What do you have here in the third plague is brief and unannounced. Moses and Aaron were simply to strike the dust so that it would become gnats. So this is right after the frogs. Okay. So we have the frogs, and now we're going to move on to the gnats. Second witness, hello. Welcome in. Not only is this plague unannounced, but it is also not duplicated by the Egyptians. Okay, that's right. We get to they could duplicate. Now, here's the silly thing. If they're duplicating the turning water into blood, Well, then there's going to like anything that they have that's water that didn't get turned to blood, they're now turning it to blood. They're making the problem worse. If they can have frogs appear, they're also making the problem worse. The interesting thing with the second plague with the frogs is, I think it was that one, is when do you want it to happen? Tomorrow is when I want it to happen, when I want it to stop. So that Pharaoh isn't about what power that you have. He understands that. It's, can you control when it happens? That's the bigger thing. Not that you can do it, but can you control when it will happen? That's the thing that Pharaoh was asking for. Okay. The Lord said to Moses, so we don't know how long this is. Is this a week later? Is this a month later? Is it 6 months later? We don't know. Tell Aaron, extend your staff and strike the dust of the ground, and it will become gnats throughout all the land of Egypt. Kinim, the insect, has been variously identified as lice, gnats, tick, flies, fleas, or mosquitoes. Lice follows the reading in the Peshitta and the Targum, and so Josephus. Greek and Latin had gnats, but gnats, many commentators mean mosquitoes, which in around the water of Egypt were abundant, and the translators of the Greek text were familiar with Egypt. Whatever they were, they came from the dust and were troublesome to people and animals. Well, I don't, just think through this logically. If we're turning dust into insects, I don't think it's mosquitoes. Mosquitoes would make more sense if we were turning water into insects. Then we'd go with mosquitoes, I would think. Lice are something that the Egyptians loathe. It's one reason why they shave their hair, is to avoid having lice, because they associate having beards and hair with dirtiness, and lice is part of that. So I think that lice makes sense. Also, lice could come from the ground. They would dwell in the ground and come on you from there. So I think it might be lice, but it doesn't matter. It's a plague. They did so. Aaron extended his hand with his staff. He struck the dust of the ground, and it became gnats on the people and on the animals. All the dust of the ground became gnats throughout all the land of Egypt. So this makes it sound like this is also where the Hebrews are. Not clear. It could just be saying all the land of Egypt. For the Egyptians, let's see what happens. When the magicians attempted to bring forth gnats by their secret arts, they could not. So there were gnats on people and on animals. The magician said to Pharaoh, "It is the finger of God." This is interesting phrasing here. The word finger is a bold anthropomorphism, a figure of speech in which it describes God is described using human characteristics. The point of magician's word is clear enough. They knew they were beaten, and by whom. The reason for their choice of the word finger has occasioned many theories, none of which is entirely satisfying. Or at least their statement highlights that the plague was accomplished by God with majestic ease and effortlessness. Perhaps the reason that they could not do this was that it involved producing life from the dust of the ground. Yes, I think there is a connection there. The dust from the ground is where God can produce life, what he did in creation, and it's happening again. I think what we don't need to just look at the finger of God here as a reference to this being the only spot where the finger of God is mentioned. We also can jump ahead to when the tablets are carved and the Ten Commandments are written by the very finger of God. So it is God coming down and connecting with creation. Excuse me a second. Hope that didn't make it in the microphone. So finger of God here, God is acting against them. So it's not yet the mighty hand, outstretched hand, acting against them. It's just the finger pointing to them, calling them on some level to repentance. Think about if you're going to point at someone and go, don't do that, no. It's the finger of God telling us we better get in line. I think that's part of the metaphor there as well. I don't know. Could be. The Lord said to Moses, wait a minute, did we finish that? Oh, yeah. But Pharaoh's heart remained hard, and he did not listen to them just as the Lord had predicted. So we don't have, this is kind of weird, like, we don't have any, hey, when is this going to stop? When does it stop? We don't know. How soon is it? We don't have any asking there. We only have that Pharaoh's heart is hard. That's the thing that we have. The Lord said to Moses, get up early in the morning and position yourself before Pharaoh as he goes out to the water and tell him, this is what the Lord has said. Release my people that they may serve me. If you do not release my people, then I will send swarms of flies on you and your servants and on your people and in your houses. Okay, the arav means a mix or a swarm. It seems that some irritating kind of flying insect is involved. Psalm 78 says that the Egyptians were eaten and devoured by them. Various suggestions have been made over the years. It could refer to a beast or a reptile. Don't think so. The Greek took it as the dog fly, a vicious, blood-sucking gadfly, more common in the spring and in the fall. Never heard of the dog fly, but we have horse flies. The original housefly which is a symbol of Egypt, and the beetle that gnaws and bites plant, animals, and materials. The fly, yeah, scarab. That would be interesting if it was scarab. The fly probably fits the details of the passage best. The plague would have greatly intensified the problem with flies that already existed. So, I don't know, a beetle, that's an interesting thing. Or a scarab beetle. Okay, doesn't matter what it is. It's a swarming swarm. You know what I should do? So it is Exodus 8:21. Let's go look the word up. I want to see, is this the word used in creation for swarming things to swarm? I will just look at here. Arob. Okay, and we want to use the first usage of it. No, it's not. It's Exodus is the first use, but let's see. There is a root word, arab. Okay, so where is arab? To take pledge, to give to pledge. Oh, that's interesting. That's not what I'm thinking of at all. Okay. So it's not in creation. Okay. That was my curiosity, and it's not. It's not the swarming thing swarm of creation. It's different. Okay. If you do not release my people, then I am going to send swarms of flies on you and your servants, on your people, and in your houses. The house of the Egyptians will be full of flies, and even the ground they stand on. But on that day I will mark off the land of Goshen. Okay, so it was across the whole land with the gnats, or the lice. Now we're saying we're going to mark off the land of Goshen, where my people are staying, so that no swarms of flies will be there, that you may know that I am the Lord in the midst of this land. So we're going to put division between people. We hadn't seen that fully before. Now we're going to distinctly have that implementation. I will put a division between my people and your people. This sign will take place tomorrow. Tomorrow the swarms come tomorrow. The Lord did so, and a thick swarm of flies came into Pharaoh's house and into the houses of his servants and throughout the whole land of Egypt. The land was ruined because of the swarms of flies. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "Go sacrifice to your God within the land." But Moses said, that would not be the right thing to do, for the sacrifice we make to the Lord our God would be an abomination to the Egyptians. Okay, this, I believe, is the first use of the word abomination. Is something that is off limits, something that is taboo. It could be translated detestable or loathsome. So I like the idea of detestable, because you would detest that. You are opposed to it. It's adversarial to you. It's something that you immensely dislike. So this is the first use of it. Maybe it was the second, but Egypt and the plagues are the first use. The idea that the Hebrews are detestable to the Egyptians is where this starts. And later we get this is a detestable thing to God. Yeah, it's a thing that is something he dislikes. So that would be sin. That would be sin. Okay. If we make sacrifices that are an abomination to the Egyptians right before their eyes, will they not stone us? See, here is the response to something that you detest. You're going to stone them, perhaps. Now, that wouldn't be our common thing that would happen today. We would take other actions against people, but that would have been a common occurrence in that day. You'd take up stones and stone them. I mean, you don't need to go to a court. You could see what they're doing is detestable. You take action against it. I think we could think of examples of that, like mugging somebody would be detestable in most people's eyes, that we could take action against that person. Yeah. We must go on a 3-day journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God, just as he is telling us. The clause is placed first in the sentence to stress the distance required. Deracha is adverbial accusative specifying how far they must go. It is a contrast, or is a construct, so 3 days modifies it as a journey of 3 days or a 3-day journey. So here's part of when you try to figure out where Mount Sinai is. Is this a clue telling us that Mount Sinai is a 3-day journey into the desert? That's how some people take this to understand. It is a 3-day journey from where they are to get to Mount Sinai. So you would have to draw an arc of how far you could go in 3 days, and then you have to figure out how many people are traveling and the slowest people, and then that would be a different distance. It would be shorter, and go from the land of Goshen to be able to get there. That's one hypothesis of what you do with this. But what if Moses is talking symbolically about 3 days, and he's not talking literally about 3 days, Yeah, West Coast reporting for duty. Onesimus. Hey, I am in the Bay Area. Where are you at, man? I know you're out here. You don't have to dox yourself. But, I'm out here till Thursday. Oh, you're in SoCal? Okay. I'm up in the Bay. So, we're like 5 hours away. Or at least 5 hours. So, well, if I'm in SoCal, I'll try to remember to let you know, man. I don't have any plans for SoCal. I mean, I would like to, but at a conference all day as soon as I get done here. So what's funny is it's like 11 o'clock back on the East Coast, and it's like only 8 o'clock here. So I fully adapted to the new time, I think. Didn't take much. I wanted to go to bed so early last night. I think I went to bed around 9 o'clock is what I did, which would have been midnight. So it's not super early, I guess, for me. All right. So they're going a 3 days journey. It doesn't mean that that's where Mount Sinai is. That's what I'm trying to say. 3 days could be symbolic there. We're going to go 3 days. That's why we're going to need to do it. We need to totally get out of the land. And in 1 or 2 days, you could see us. So 3 days is going to be far enough that you're not going to see us. Okay. Pharaoh said, I will release you so that you may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness. Only do not go very far. Do pray for me. You watched the Dodgers game last night. Went 18 innings, was wild. Oh, wow. Excuse me. I think I was watching Twitch, and people were talking about it being the bottom of the 7th inning, and then I went to bed a little bit after that. So, yeah, that 18 innings. Woo! Who won? And are you rooting for the Dodgers? I only semi want to root for Toronto. They did win because I like when Canadian teams win. I just like when Canadian team wins. I'm not on Team Canada. It's just that they seem like there's so few of them that get into the major sports leagues. I like to see Canada win every once in a while. So, and I have no skin in the game, honestly, though. If people don't tell me who wins, I will pay no attention. Okay, so do not go very far. The construct is very emphatic. First verse of the Eub, verbal hendiades, with the hiffle imperfect and the kal infinitive construct. Lo tarhiku lalelhet. You will not make far to go, meaning you will not go far. But this prohibition is not emphasized with the additional infinitive absolute. You will not in any way go far. The point is very strong to safeguard concession. Okay, you're not going to go far, right? You know, you're not going to escape and leave. And then do pray for me. Well, remember that when Abimelech, I think it was Abimelech, was going to sleep with Sarah and then got warned in a dream, and then God said, have Abraham pray for you. So here Pharaoh is doing the right thing by having Moses pray for him instead of praying to a God he doesn't know on his own. Okay. Moses said, I am going to go out from you and pray to the Lord, and the swarms of flies will go away from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his house, or from his people, tomorrow. Only do not let Pharaoh deal falsely again by not releasing the people to sacrifice to the Lord. Sorry, it jumped on me. Yeah, there it is. So Moses went out from Pharaoh and prayed to the Lord. And the Lord did as Moses asked. He removed the swarms of flies from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people. Not one remained. So apparently they don't end up there dead like it seemingly was with the frogs. The flies fly away. Flies fly away, oh glory, flies fly away. But Pharaoh hardened his heart this time also, and did not release the people. Okay, but Pharaoh hardened. The phrase in Hebrew word, okay, that's all we have. Okay, so we got ads coming in. Do I have the fish up? I thought I had. Let me just see. Did I keep them up? No, I turned it off. All right, we'll get to BRB screen.
He's got that black tap dapper look, making waves online, spreading the word on Twitch. Pastor with a cheerful heart, no lie, preaching joy so high to the sky. He'll be right back, yes, he'll be right back. He'll be back in 2 or 3. Flat cat dapper, flat cat dapper. We'll be right back after this break. No mistake, joy they make. I'll be right back, yeah. We'll be right back in 2 or 3. Joy they make.
All right, Pea Shooter. What a great question. What would happen if a foreign king in the Old Testament prayed to Yahweh without any knowledge of him? Would that have had no effect or negative consequences? I'm like, in the occasion of a couple of the other ones, like I was mentioning with Abimelech and Abraham. Abimelech is warned in a dream. Abimelech has done nothing wrong yet, but God says, have Abraham pray on behalf for you. So there is this idea of having an intercessor on your behalf. So think about it this way. If you want to go to your parents and ask them for something, on behalf of a friend, isn't it easier for you to ask your parents, who you have the relationship with them, if you can have something for a friend of yours, instead of your friend just going to your parents and asking? So it's kind of that, like the relational equity of the person interceding on your behalf makes the prayer an effective answer to the prayer. So in the case of Abimelech, I think he understood who God was, and there wouldn't have been negative consequences for, having a prayer. There's also this idea of a cry that goes out. So sometimes it's not understood as prayer, but it is the cry of the oppressed. So when the oppressed are crying out because they are being oppressed by people, it does not matter if they have a relationship with Yahweh or they don't have a relationship with Yahweh. Yahweh will hear them. So as the people were crying out under oppression in Egypt, God heard. We can look at the great cry of the city of Nineveh is gone out, and God has heard it. So he sent his servant Jonah to go warn the people to change from what they were doing. So you can have cries, which don't think of them as prayers, but it's just a cry of the oppressed. Like, I'm being oppressed. God, can't you do something about this, without having a relationship with him? I think, however, in the standpoint of Pharaoh here specifically, since Pharaoh is hardening his own heart against God, this would be kind of like the status of when you as a kid are told to say you're sorry for something and you just go, sorry. And the person doesn't believe you and isn't going to listen to you. So in that case, if Pharaoh asked on his own behalf, he would have to humble himself to acknowledge that God actually is powerful and that he's not a god. So I don't think Pharaoh's inclined to do that. So I don't know that it'd be negative consequences, because he's already got the plagues going on. But it may not have been listened to. So it's going to be effective if Moses prays on his behalf. Pharaoh understands that Moses has the ear of God. So asking a person that has the ear of God to be the one to make the request is going to make their request effective. I think that's what we have going on mostly. But I love that question. Super good. Second witness. I actually think that the Old Testament God not only talks to Israel, but to the other nations too, or something, because they actually have prophets too, or something like Balaam that talks to God, you think. Oh, you're welcome, Pea Shooter. I love the question. Second witness. On Balaam, I think that's a different... Yeah, Balaam goes rogue when he introduced... I think Balaam is a person who is able to reach into the spiritual realm and talk to other spiritual beings. I think he accidentally is able to connect with God, and God talks to him, which does make some, like if we get into that story some point, why does he keep trying to argue with God about, well, can I go now? Can I go now? Can I go now? Can I go now? Like, you've said this, but can I still go? It's like he knows how to tap into the spiritual world, and he accidentally taps into, or God decides to answer him. And I think that's what we have going on with Balaam. So, right. I know he's asking God for permission. I know. But what I'm saying is there's a difference between him being a polytheist who believes all of the spiritual realm, and that he does know that there is a God of the Israelites, and he does have a conversation with the God of the Israelites, but it doesn't mean he has loving loyalty and faithfulness to him. So he may not be a worshiper of God. He just knows how to actually connect to the spiritual realm. That's my opinion, and I could be wrong, but that's how I read that. Pea shooter, in modern day context, you're confused by intercessory prayer. James 5:16 mentions the power of prayer of a righteous person. Even if Jesus is our mediator, how does that mean someone else's prayer will be more effective for me if you are weak faith, less righteous? Oh, I don't. Let's go a different direction with that, pea shooter. Paul continuously in his letters says, please pray for me that I may have boldness. Pray for us that the message we deliver will be successful. So in regards to the believers praying for and with other believers, I think it's participation. Okay, that's what I think the emphasis is on, is the participation. James' passage about a righteous person being effective is, in essence, I think, trying to encourage us to be in prayer, because we, as righteous people, will be effective in our prayers that we pray for people. But I think part of it also is we participate in the prayers. Like, look at when Peter was in prison. The prayer of the people while Peter was in prison was powerful and effective because Peter was led out of prison by angels who brought him out. So Peter alone wasn't the one doing the work. The participation of the body of Christ, the church, did the work of prayer. They did it together. So I think that's part of what we have and we need to think about. So rather than me alone doing it, I invite others to participate in things, which is a different side of prayer. That's a great point. So anyway, there's a prayer and praise gospel takeover that starts with One Reason on Friday, and it's going to be a 48-hour prayer and praise. So I'll be on at 11 Eastern on Friday and talking about prayer. So that might be a fantastic thing to talk about, is the efficaciousness, and that'd be effectiveness, of us praying together the way that the church was praying for the release of Peter, and they were all of one mind praying for one thing, and then that one thing became the thing that was answered. Now, are there times where the church prays for the healing of one person and it doesn't happen? Yeah, absolutely. It's like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that we pray and we believe, but even if God doesn't answer our prayer or he doesn't deliver us, we still trust him. And we don't always know what God is going to do and when. We also have Paul that said he prayed for the thorn in the flesh to be taken away 3 times, and it did not happen. So what if he'd have prayed 4 times? No, God's answer was, my grace is sufficient for you. In your weakness, then I am strong. So I don't always know the answer of when and why or how some prayers are answered, but I do have confidence that part of it is we are to pray with each other, for each other as believers. The intercessor, in regards to the Old Testament here, is someone who has a relationship praying for someone who doesn't have a relationship. That's, I think, part of what we see in the Old Testament there. So if we bring that to James with a righteous person, he's referring to Elijah praying for rain, and it won't rain, and it didn't rain, and then praying for rain, and it did rain. So that would be, we as individuals have that power as well. I don't know. Pea shooter, it's a good thing regarding that to think about. Regarding prayer requests not being fulfilled, is there a way to know if your prayer had faith and God didn't grant it, or if you didn't have enough faith? I don't know if that's always something that we can answer. Maybe in hindsight we can answer that. I think it's easier to see when God answers a prayer that your prayer was powerful and effective, but it also was in line with God going to use it to be a blessing. And we can't always see and know why God doesn't answer or why the answer is no, to be able to figure those things out. I wish there was a, like, I wish there was like, like if you're sending an email or a text message, there's a reply back. I wish there was a reply back at times. Sometimes it feels like there's no reply back. Sometimes in hindsight, I can look at it and go, oh yeah, God, I'm glad you didn't answer that prayer with a yes, because that would have led to things that I didn't know or I couldn't see. And now it turns out to be a blessing that I didn't have it. But that's part of the faith journey, is believing that the God who created you does want the best for you. And like a good father, he is not going to give you a scorpion when you ask for a fish. He loves to give you good gifts when you ask for them. So I don't have a full answer to it. It's part of the mystery of trying to understand the world, and I think also a reliance on God. So thanks for being here, Pea Shooter. I love your interactiveness and your questions. Really good stuff. This is not my normal time, by the way. So I am normally off by now. I'm usually East Coast streaming at this time, and I'm West Coast, so I'm 3-4 hours later than my normal schedule. So, all right, let's see if we can get one more plague in before I have to go today. Bum, bum, bum. Plague number 5. Then the Lord said to Moses, go to Pharaoh and tell him, this is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has said. Release my people that they may serve me. For if, if you refuse to release them and continue holding them, then the hand of the Lord will surely bring a very terrible plague on your livestock in the field, on the horses, the donkeys, the camels, the herds, and the flocks. The older view that camels were not domesticated at this time has been corrected by more recently uncovered information. Oh, interesting. Of course, you still have to decide what time is this. And there are several, I think there are 3 distinctive hypothesis of when the Exodus is. Some jump to Ramses because the city of Ramses is mentioned, but that doesn't mean anything. The Pharaoh is intentionally not mentioned. There's the possibility of being Tutmosis III. I like that one, and there's another one as well. So anyway, the camel thing would depend on when you think the Exodus is. I think 1300 BC or 1700 BC are some of the possibilities, somewhere in there. But the Lord will distinguish between the livestock of Israel and the livestock of Egypt, and nothing will die of all the Israelites have. So again, we're having this bifurcation, division between that those in Egypt are going to die, but those of my people, no harm. The Lord set an appointed time. Tomorrow the Lord will do this in the land, and the Lord did this on the next day. All the livestock of Egypt died, but the Israelite livestock did not die. Okay, all the livestock died. The word all clearly does not mean all in the inclusive sense, because subsequent plagues involve cattle. The word must denote such a large number that where whatever was left was insignificant to the economy. It could also be taken all kinds of livestock died, and that would be the direction I would go there. That there isn't any one person who had livestock who did not have a dead animal. That would be how I would take that. And again, this is one of those things that we need to pay attention to when we're reading the Bible. We will have a statement like this that says all livestock of the Egyptians died. And then we, right after this, have that there are still some livestock alive. So when we have them going through the land and conquering the land, it says they killed all the people, and then right after it say don't intermarry with them. If they were all dead, you couldn't intermarry. They're not marrying corpses. There's no corpse bride. I'm just saying. So we need to remember that all is total language, victory language, destruction language. It's not meant in a modern sense of all means all. And I know you've probably heard Pastors say that. I've heard that my whole life. All means all. Well, all does mean all sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't mean all. Sometimes it means all kinds, or it means a great number of them. But we're exaggerating, or we are being hyperbolic, or we are being total victory or total destruction language. And we're making a point in what we say. Oh, what is the name of the app you're using with the exegesis? It's very cool. It is NetBible. So netbible.org has all these footnotes here. And some people have asked me about that. I do need to put that on the screen so when new people come in, they can see that. So NetBible has footnotes here. So one of the other things it will do is if there are 4 or 5 different readings of the Old Testament or New Testament in the Greek and Hebrew, it will explain what those are and why they're translating it the way that they're doing it. And then I do go look up words on Blue Letter Bible here and look them up in the Hebrew here because we're in the Old Testament. And I use those because they're free. Okay. But the Israelite livestock did not. Not one died. See, we're also painting a picture of none versus all. So we're painting a picture of contrast. That'll be another reason to say all. Pharaoh sent representatives to investigate, and indeed, not even one of the livestock of Israel had died. But Pharaoh's heart remained hard, and he did not release the people. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened. The phrase translates the word kavad. In this context, represents the continuation of a prior condition. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened. So it is an ongoing process of Pharaoh's heart hardening. All right, let's go to the boils. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, take handfuls of soot from the furnace and have Moses throw it into the air while Pharaoh is watching. Okay, so now we're going to get into some theatrics, right? We're going to get into some theatrics. There's an interesting thing. We have done some things by just the command of them or by the striking with the staff. We're going to try something new, Pharaoh. Will this grab your attention? We're going to take soot. We're going to take soot. It will become fine dust over the whole land of Egypt, and it will cause boils to break out and fester on both people and animals in the land. So here we have animals in the land. Well, if all the livestock are dead, is this pets? Is this on cats and dogs? Is that what we have? Onesimus, interesting. So what if Egyptian livestock died? So Egyptians take the Hebrew living livestock. Then what then dies later? Yeah, it doesn't say that Pharaoh did that, but that's an interesting thought. What if that happened and so Pharaoh would have seized the livestock? I think we would have had that if that's happened, but I like the thought. Or what if they spent money and bought new? I mean, we can come up with some hypothesis. Also, it says all the animals. I didn't look up the word here to see whether it's the same one as livestock, but maybe it's other animals that they have that aren't livestock. I mean, chickens weren't in the list. I don't know if they had chickens. Cats, dogs aren't, crocodiles. They had crocodiles that they had gathered for worshiping their gods in pits. I've seen that, things on that. I don't remember where it is, not all of them, but a couple of the gods, they would have had crocodiles in a pit to worship their gods. Okay. So there's plenty of ways we can solve that. So they took soot from the furnace and stood before Pharaoh. Moses threw it in the air like he just don't care. And it caused festering boils to break out on both on people and animals. Not plants and animals. That would be really weird. That would be kind of freaky if all of a sudden a plant had boils on it. The magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils, for the boils were on the magicians, and on all the Egyptians. Okay, so the magicians can't even show up. They're in such pain and anguish with the boils, they can't even show up to face Moses. let alone they couldn't prevent it from happening to them themselves. I think that's fascinating. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not listen to them, just as the Lord had predicted to Moses. Okay. Let's keep going a minute here. Let's keep going. The Lord said to Moses, get up early in the morning, stand before Pharaoh, and tell him this is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has said. So we also have this boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, back to back to back to back. You came to the best coast. Timmy, welcome in, buddy. And by the way, I'm not doing the time to do this, but I do encourage you to do this. Go look and find the different plagues and how these plagues are an assault on each or a god of Egypt. Each plague is confronting the power of an Egyptian god, starting with the Nile and working its way up to Pharaoh. And when the God who represents them of all the gods on earth, Pharaoh, could not prevent the death of his own son, the faith and of the people fails and calls and drives out the people, and some even go with. So, 7 right here. We've got it. What is the 7th plague? Is it fire or lightning, something, rain? Well, we'll just find out. Okay. Get up early in the morning, stand before Pharaoh, and tell him, this is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has said. Release my people so that they may serve me. For this time I will send all my plagues on your very self and on your servants and on your people, so that you may know that there is no one like me in all of the earth. Yeah, exactly. Well, and Frank's not the only one. Lots of people know this and point it out. But doesn't mean everybody has heard that. So, for by now I could have stretched out my hand and struck you and your people with plague, and you would have been destroyed from the earth. So God's saying, hey, dude, I've been taking it easy. Your magicians pointed out I was only the finger of God doing these things, not my full power. I could stretch out my arm with my full power. The outstretched arm is the power that has the ability to act, and I could extend it and wipe you out. You want that? You want that? You should also observe that Aaron and Moses do from the beginning to the end in light of Exodus 3:4. Do with the plague. Yep. Moses and we also have like how fast are these happening? It's hard to say how fast each of these is happening. Okay. But for this purpose I have caused you to stand to show my strength, and so that my name may be declared in all the earth. So the reason for this is that God's name is going to be declared. Well, we'll get to it. We haven't read it yet. Second, let me get to it. You are still exalting yourself against my people by not releasing them. So here it is. You are arrogant. You are exalting yourself instead of exalting me. I am going to cause a severe hail to rain down about this time tomorrow. Such hail has never occurred. So Hineni Matir is the future instance construct. Future, or that should be future? I don't know that. Given in imminent future. Yeah, they just spelled that wrong. Translation. Here, I am about to cause it to rain. Which not was like it in Egypt. The pronoun suffix serves as the resumptive pronoun for the relative participle, which like it becomes the like of which has not been. The word hail is added in the translation to make it clear the reference of the relative participle. Okay, so it says hail. Tomorrow I'm going to have severe hail to rain down. Has never occurred in Egypt from the day it was founded until now. So now send instructions to gather livestock and all your possessions in the fields to a safe place. Okay, wait, how could there be livestock if they were all killed? Either they all were killed and they've replaced them and they're going to lose them again, or they weren't all killed. It was just total destructive language, and all kinds of them, or no one escaped without something dead. Yeah, hailstones are water droplets that get caught up in updrafts and have freezing on the outside of them. And I have seen pictures of them as large as baseballs. That's not common. Pea-size hail is pretty common. Grape-size hail, pretty common. You get quarter-size hail a couple of times a year, perhaps, depending on where you are. But getting grapefruit and baseball size, that's an uncommon thing. Yeah, like hard ice. Yeah, there is some. Let's see if it says it later. Maybe it says it when it happens, so I want to wait for that. Every person or animal caught in the field and not brought into the house, the hail will come down on them and they will die. So your roof is going to protect you. Like if you've been in a house, yeah, you get hail damage on the building, but you usually don't die from a hailstorm if you're inside. But you could be seriously hurt if you're outside. Those of Pharaoh's servants who feared the Lord's message hurried to bring their servants and livestock into the house, but those who did not take the Lord's message seriously left their servants and cattle in the field. So this was hey, the word went out, and people who were fearing God because God was doing stuff, they responded to it. Then the Lord said to Moses, extend your hand towards the sky, that there may be hail in the land of Egypt on the people and the animals, and on everything that grows in the field in the land of Egypt. Moses extended his staff towards the sky. The Lord set thunder and hail, and fire fell to the earth. Okay, here's where you were asking the questions. Okay. The expression Natan Kolat literally means gave voice. Poetic expression for sending the thunder. So God is thundering from the sky. His voice is thundering and hail. And you have thunderstorms is when you have hail. So you're going to have lightning, thunder. That all makes sense along with hail. Fire fell to the earth. What do we have here? The clause being variously interpreted. Lightning would ordinarily accompany thunder. In this case, the mention of fire could indicate that the lightning was beyond normal and that it was striking in such a way as to start fires on the ground. It could also mean that fire went along the ground from the pounding hail. Okay, so the fire fell to the earth could be lightning. That could be what is in mind there. So you have thunder, hail, lightning. That would all make sense. Did they distinctly call lightning something different than fire? There's some people who will take it to be like fire and brimstone kind of an idea. Like, who knows on some level? I mean, this is just like going to be, horrible. Hail fell and fire mingled with the hail. Okay, so we have it again. The fire taking hold of itself in the midst of the hail. So it could be so much is going on that it's causing fires to break out in the midst of it. That would be another way of seeing it. Timmy. Aaron was the one who lifted up the staff initially at the beginning of some of the plagues, and then eventually Moses lifted the staff up at the end of some of the plagues. We recall that Moses was afraid to and made excuses in Exodus 3:4. Timmy, very good point. Yeah, Aaron was the one doing the staff with the snake, and then the Nile, and then now Moses is taking action. Yeah. The lightning igniting the fire in the field or something. It could be that, or it could be something else. Like there could be hailstones that are on fire as they fall. I don't know. I don't know if they're just describing the lightning as fire because there are such flashes that are happening and fires are starting in the land, or maybe they're igniting something that's falling out of the sky that's on fire. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Scariness and power of God, that's what we have for sure. That I can say. Okay. Yeah. Hail fell and fire mingled with the hail. The hail was so severe that there's been not been anything like it in all the land of Egypt since It had become a nation. The hail struck everything in the open field, both the people and the animals throughout all the land. The hail struck everything that grows in the field, and it broke all the trees of the field into pieces. Again, we have total annihilation language. Doesn't mean it has to be literally every tree. If you've ever watched the destruction after a tornado, it certainly looks like it, but then there'll be a tree in the middle that didn't get hurt, that kind of a thing. You're not going to mention that one tree. You're going to say it was total destruction. Only the land of Goshen, where the Israelites lived, was there no hail. So Pharaoh went and summoned Moses and Aaron and said to them, I have sinned this time. Pharaoh now is struck by the judgment and acknowledges that he is at fault, but the context shows that this penitence was short-lived. What exactly he meant by his confession is uncertain. On the surface, his words would seem to represent a recognition that he was in the wrong and Yahweh was right. Yes, but acknowledging that you're the one in the wrong doesn't mean you've changed your heart. Like, yeah, okay, so it's my fault. I still would do it again. I have sinned this time. The Lord is righteous, and I and my people are guilty. Pray to the Lord, for the mighty thunderings and hail are too much. I will release you, and you will stay no longer. So now he has put no parameters on it. You get to go. Moses said to him, when I leave the city, I will spread out my hands to the Lord. The thunder will cease, and there will be no more hail, so that you may know that the earth belongs to the Lord. Okay, so how long does this have to happen and go on for this to be terrifying? For you, like, it's still going on. You summon Moses and say, dude, you got to get this thunder and hail to stop now. This is scary. But as for you and your servants, I know that you do not yet fear the Lord God. Now the flax and the barley were struck by the hail, for the barley had ripened and the flax was in bud. But the wheat and the spelt were not struck, for they are later crops. That's interesting. So they don't get struck. Why? They're later crops. So they're going to still spring up, I think, is the thing to think about here. So the crops that are ready for harvest or near harvest, or they're already in bud, they've already sprung up. But the ones who are going to spring up later, they're not in bloom yet, so they didn't get destroyed, so they will get destroyed later. So Moses left Pharaoh, went out of the city, spread out his hands to the Lord, and the thunder and the hail ceased, and the rain stopped pouring on the earth. When Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunder ceased, he sinned again. Both he and his servants hardened their hearts, so Pharaoh's heart remained hard. And he did not release the Israelites as the Lord predicted through Moses. Okay, so we're going to end there. So we made it through Exodus 9. There we go, Exodus 9. So I don't know what time I'll be on tomorrow. It will not be my normal time, but I think we'll be on. We got ads coming in. I'll give you a blessing after the ads.
He's got that flat cap dapper look, making waves online, spreading the word on Twitch. Pastor with a cheerful heart, no lie, preaching joy so high to the sky. He'll be right back, yes, he'll be right back. He'll be back in 2 or 3. Flat cat dapper, flat cat dapper. We'll be right back after this break. No mistake, joy they make. I'll be right back, yeah. We'll be right back in 2 or 3. Right back after this break. No mistake, in 2 or 3.
All right. We back. So thank you everyone for hanging out with me. Not my normal time. Tomorrow again, not my normal time, but will be West Coast time. So when I get up, I'll stream. Conference starts 8:39 again tomorrow, West Coast. So I'll be headed over there. We'll stream when I get a chance. Do that again, I think, on Thursday. I don't know what Friday is going to hold. I'm supposed to be doing prayer one at 11. I've got podcast with Hannah's Banana and the TCD channel at noon Eastern. So I'll be busy if I'm streaming all Friday morning. That's a little bit for sure. So anyway, let me send you off with a blessing. May God's seeking comfort find you. May his loving arms bind you. May his might protect you. May his wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you, everyone, for being here, hanging out with me. Onesimus, good to see you, bud. Yes, loved the Bay Area, but that's a tall order. Yeah. May a safe travel. Thank you. And everyone else coming in, Second Witness, and who else did we have today? Oh yeah, we had Timmy, and we had Pea Shooter. Welcome in. I enjoyed the conversation, friend, and hope to see you again. Let me roll the credits. I'm going to go raid. Who did I say we were going to raid? Oh, we're going to raid GC Warrior.
Flat cap on his head, he's streaming live. Reading from the book, the word so alive. A prayer in his heart that lifts the soul. In the digital world where spirits roll. Hallelujah, from the screen we scream. Join the pastor in the holy dream, spreading love with every verse he reads, planting hope like precious seeds. He's a shepherd with a virtual flock.